The following program is a production of Naleo TV.
Aloha! Welcome to this episode of Polymer Play with Barbara Hanson. That's me. Today I'm really excited. We're going to learn how to take sheets of different colors of clay and take them to build a flower petal, which ultimately will be a flower cane. But the best is yet to come. It's going to be this amazing Aloha surfboard. Stay tuned. Okay, here we go. The first color that we're going to use in the center of the flower is orange. So I've already mixed my colors with my dough sheeter and I've layered them out. You remember the first part of the cane that you make dictates the whole size of the tube. So I'm going to roll this a little bit, get it nice and tight. I'm trying to get all the air pockets out of there. And I want a smooth transition here. Give it a roll. Okay. The next color I'm going to use is fuchsia. Oh, I love this color, one of my favorites. Taper an end. Check the width of the next layer. Cut off the excess. It's much easier, although it doesn't look like it right now. It's much easier to trim it on the table than it is to trim it once it's standing up. Okay, so now we've got this. Okay, let's see how that goes. Okay, so we've got our first circle, our first arch going around our circle. So you could tell with this how if you wanted to make a rainbow, you could just keep layering different layers of different colors and you get a rainbow, but we're not doing that. We're making a flower. I just have to take advantage of every teaching moment because that's how I work. Okay, so I'm going into red. Again, I noticed that the red is a little bit longer, so I can score it with my blade and then go back, cut it off. Okay, perfect. I cut off too much. Teaching moment. So because it is too narrow, I can take it and kind of pull it like this. The main reason why I want to keep all these heights level is because I want to get the most out of my roll. Oh, another teaching moment. Doesn't go all the way. So I'm going to pull a little this way. And then I'll have to square it back up. Remember, you control your clay. Clay doesn't control you. And make it? Yes, okay. So when I taper each one, I taper a little bit higher. We're looking pretty good. Always check both sides to make sure things are looking the way you want them to. Okay, now I'm going to add a thin sheet of purple. Cleaning off my edges. So you notice how this roll, how it's shorter on this side and taller on this side? I'm going to just kind of pull it like this. Try and maybe push this a little to even it up before I wrap that last color. Oh, this is good. I love these colors. They're so vibrant. That's fun. Okay. Now, remember, whenever you are creating a roll that goes into a pattern, what you want to do is your last layer of your flower petal needs to be the color that's the outside of your finished product. So that's why I'm going to put purple around this. If I just was going to go back and wedge purple triangles in between each petal, what would happen is it wouldn't be as smooth, because as you're placing things in, they're going to push into other existing colors. Well, if I push purple into purple, you can't tell. But if I push purple into red, then you're going to see indentation. And so this keeps the whole thing really smooth. That's why, that's the main reason for doing that. And yes, that looks great. Okay. Right. So now we're going to hold it. We're going to squeeze it. We're trying to get all our air pockets out. You can give it a little roll just to like round it, make it smooth, but we're not going to roll the whole thing because remember, we need this line to stay straight. We don't want this line to curve because it'll be too difficult to match things back up. Ooh, here's a good example. If I rolled it, see how this is? And this line is straight. If I had rolled this, this would be like this. And then I couldn't put them back together because they wouldn't match up. Yeah. It's a beautiful day up here in Aloha. Okay, so we're trying to keep it even. See, it's getting a little lumpy. We can even it a little. I like to keep my ends clean. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're going to keep pulling this down. And you know, normally when I do my flowers, I do 5 petal flowers. So I'm going to teach you a new little trick to add into your repertoire. When you're pulling down your cane, instead of doing 5 petals, you should do 6 petals, because if you leave an extra petal, I'm going to show you something. That's how you build the 3-dimensional flowers that were on the surfboard I showed you in the beginning. So again, I stop, I make sure this is staying straight. Pulling down is just a slow process. And it's funny because it's hard to explain exactly how to do it unless you're doing it, because you'll feel the clay temperature, just all of a sudden it does its thing and it comes down easy, but you can't force it. Okay, so we've got this going. All right, so when you want to do 6 petals, which is actually easier than 5 because you can half it, you make sure your ends are clean and you can see your pattern. And then what I do is I take the cane and I make sure the diameter is, you know, fairly consistent. Looks like it's a little narrow right there, so I can kind of push that up. Okay. I mean, in nature, flower petals aren't all the same, so it's not going to kill you. The size is a little bit different. So I can half it, right? So I have that. And then bump, bump, bump. Okay. Okay, so now we have 6 petals. And we can proceed the way that we've done in previous videos, how we go through and we take each petal and we're going to pinch it. Now we're stoked that that line is straight, because that is how we line up the center of our flower petal. You can see how it wouldn't work if it was curved. Okay, so we will continue this with 5 petals, and then we'll go back and we'll insert just like we did before. But that's not what we're doing today. I'm just showing you where you can go with this. Okay, so we're going to take our 1 petal that we did. This is the 6th petal. And I'm going to pull it down a little bit more. Now, whenever I'm building hand-built petals, actually, this is where I'm going. These things. Whenever you do hand-built petals, your roll needs to be very fresh, because you're going to be manipulating it and making them stick together. You know, these kind of rolls can sit for a while. These kind of flowers cannot. I made these last night. So once I get this down to the size that I want to use, I've got to really pinch along the top. You want to cut with the right side of the blade down, ideally. If you ever see your pattern looking smeared like that, that's because you didn't cut it with the blade. But I can still use that on the background. So I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. So with this, I'm going to start with 1. I'm going to layer the next one over and push it a little bit. The next one over and push it a little bit. Same. Now on the 5th one, I'm going to go under the last one and under the last one and over, under the first one and over the last one. Try and say that 5 times. Okay, and so then I have my flower and I can set it aside. So when I'm doing big pieces, I don't really build the flowers as I go. I build a tray of them so that then when I start going, I can just layer them and do everything that I need. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to take this out of my way here. I started this project. I don't want to amp to my plate. I started this project so that I could show you how I can use things that I just made with things that I've already made, because that's what you do is you start to accumulate your rolls and you can start combining. So when you're building new rolls, you want to think about the color schemes that you have going so that you can add them all together. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to go through and use some of my rolls, my fancy rolls, to add a little bit of variety. Okay, so this right here is a trunk, and you can tell by this trunk that when I made it, it was a tube of bronze, a sheet of pink, a sheet of brown. I pulled it down like we do, small, and I stacked them up, and I made a trunk. So I'm gonna go up here. Now this is a sheet of clay that is on plexiglass. See that? See? That I've layered on there. None of these things have been pushed down. I just gently set them down because I might change my mind. And if I've pushed this into this clay, then it's gonna mess it up if I want to lift it. Okay, so there's my trunk. This is the frond I want to use. So I'm gonna cut my frond. And again, this was a dot that I cut a bunch of segments and lined them up to create the frond. So let's see, we've got start up, go out, over. I'm starting a little bit high because I want the length of this. If I didn't want this long, I could either cut it or start lower. Okay, now I'm careful about my edge. I don't want something that's just popped out on the edge because you can knock it off. Okay, now I'm going to go back to what I'm going to do for my coconuts because at this point I'm not sure what color I'm going to want. But I do know that I'm going to want to put a little holly. Holly is the Hawaiian word for house. That's too big. Let's see. Well, there's one possibility. There is another possibility. I like the size. Okay, so we've got a little thatched roof. So I'm going to take a slice of that. I always use the inside slice because it's cleaner. Because the blade was just next to it. Put that right there. Okay. And then I want to add a little bit of flowers along the bottom. So I'm going to take this roll that we made, small. Actually, no, I'm not. I was going to, but I like to change my mind. That's the beauty of doing things like this, is you can control it any way you want. I'm going to use use this one. I want it a little bit smaller. Remember, you can always make them smaller, but it's hard to make them bigger. Do just a couple little slices. Now these are thin, they're about maybe like a dime or less. And just, I'm not pushing, I'm just kind of setting them down there. That way, I can also change my mind. Okay, so back to the whole reason why we started the project, were the hand-built flowers. And my flowers need leaves, so I've made this little frond, or not frond, leaf. And with that, I'm just gonna kind of throw some fun flowers around. Ooh, look at that pop. This color was really fun to make. Blue, green, yellow, and white. Let's see. Maybe something like that. And then I'm gonna make, I take 3 and I push them together. I'm really kind of pushing it so it's not so thick. And then I can, let's see. These aren't pushed at all, so I can just kind of set it there. Work my way around. Sometimes I use 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, depending on what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Oh, look how happy this is. So I wrote Aloha out of plumerias going down. But you could also have written your last name or your address or anything. First name. I've done these for 1-year baby presents for baby luau's and such. I have my address is on the front of my house like this. Okay. Maybe I'll have to make one for Naleo. I love its studio. Okay. All right, so. Again, I'm not pushing down. I like the feel of that. I kind of want to balance it. Maybe put one over here. Maybe put one over here. See how free you feel when you have a bunch of them to pick from. And maybe wind down this way. Okay. I'm going to backtrack for a second and do down here. And I want to do something still up here. Okay, so this is kind of over water. This is now we're getting more underwater. So I'm gonna go with turtles. And we'll have to do a class on those because the turtles are really fun to make. I can use this one. I think I'll add some hot pink and some orange. Okay, these are some options that I have. Okay. But I want a variety of sizes. So I'm going to take this one. So again, slicing, using the inside. I had made a little wave. Let's use that. Okay. This is what's fun when you start to collect them. When you start to house all the canes that you're building, your main enemy is dust. You don't want dust and you don't want intense heat. So if you're working at a table that your roll rack is against the wall, you want to make sure it's not a wall that the sun is beating on. It's better if it's an interior wall. And then you want to have like a cloth or something that you put over it so that they're like dust magnets. So you want to avoid the dust magnet. Okay, so I'm just doing these little waves. These are so cute. Oh, whoops. So far I did it upside down. Okay, so I've got that little thing going on. Okay, so now I'm going to take maybe 2 of these, 3 of these. Oh, side note, I'm going to jump around for a minute. See how this sheet is on the back of this? When you want to put a sheet on the back, you use a pasta machine, or you can hand squeeze it out, and you lay it over the top of whatever you're going to cover. And I do one of two things. Either I do it this way, or I think it was episode 5, I was building a turtle and I went back and I put a whole bunch of little dots to fill the space. So that's 2 different ways that you can cover. Yeah, check that one out if you haven't seen it. And so I can slice this to get a nice clean edge. I just wanted to show you that because I forgot to show you that. And that's how we get this shape. All my plexiglass is laser cut. Okay. Now you know how my brain works. Okay. So we'll do, I don't know, like that, and then maybe a little guy. Yes. Oh, there's a turtle party going on down here. If you have a turtle party, you need to have some starfish. Where's my starfish? Oh, well, we don't have any. That's okay. We can use itty bitty flowers. Flowers work. Under the sea flowers. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to make a couple little clusters. Sometimes when you sheet your clay out, you'll have little imperfections in your clay. This is a good time to cover that. Yeah. Look how cute these little flowers are. Aren't they fun? Sometimes the little tiny touches just make it. So as I'm doing this, I keep kind of going back and thinking about what color I'm going to want to put on here. If I'm going to want to do maybe blue, I could go neutral and do, browns, or I could do pinks. It's funny, that's usually one of the last things I do because I feel like it ties the whole piece back in together. Okay, so I'm going to let this rest for a minute. Like this. Oh, that's gone. Okay, so now we're going to go back and add some leaves with these plumerias. It's so fun. This is my favorite part, is putting together all the different rolls to make something big.
6 minutes.
All right, so again, I'm gonna see. So I'm gonna kind of look at the space around, and I feel like I want this to come down a little bit, so I'm gonna give it that. And I want it to come up. So it's gonna go up here. Yeah. And then a couple more. I want to see what you guys make. So many ideas. I think one of my favorite things about this clay is everybody tackles it different. Actually, I don't have to mix one too. And even when you want to do the same thing, you often can't. Go there. And go here. Trying to find the balance. Kind of liked it there. Okay, that's hard to see. I'm gonna flip this thing around. Okay, up in the top. So we want kind of a sun vibe. And at the top, right now I don't actually have a sun tube, which sometimes I do. I'm looking at my canes all over here. But I can use... Oh, wait, I know it. Barbara thinking? Oh, we do this. It's kind of interesting. No. I thought so. I thought no. Okay. Something like this. Put that at the top. Oh, I don't like that either. Oh, I know. Do something like this. It's just clean and simple, non-committal. Just do one of these up here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, and we're gonna hit our. I'm gonna use these little blue flowers for my coconuts because it'll kind of pull that blue back up to the top. Do 3. Maybe I'll make one more extra one like it fell on the ground. So if somebody wants a little coconut, they can have it. All right. So I'm happy with how it looks. So now with a clean glove, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go through it. Just kind of give it a gentle little push. And now this one's ready for the oven. Oh.
2 minutes.
All right. So I kind of want to go over what I did here with this cane. We learned how to put together this tube, which was the tube of orange, the hot pink, the red, the purple. We pulled it down, we shaped it, we built this that we can use for earrings and things. I start like this would make a little earring out of it. But we also took our 5th petal and pulled it down and learned how to make flowers. And these flowers, I don't recommend these flowers just like this for earrings because they're a little bit fragile. But you could use them like this for earrings, okay? And then we took our hand-built flowers and we created a beautiful Aloha piece. We could have also taken the flowers and just built something clean and simple, like a lei pattern. Again, I didn't go back and press this one down. So remember, when you're firing, you're going to low fire in your oven, 315 for 13 minutes, and let it cool outside. When you're working with plexiglass, you don't want to pick it up when you take it out of the oven because it's going to be wobbly like this. You just have to let it cool because it's plastic on plastic, so you don't need glue. And I think that turned out really awesome. So I'm so happy to get to share my craft with you. And thank you for spending your time with me and explore polymer play. It's really fun. I look forward to next time. Aloha.
The preceding program was a production of Naleo TV.